Hey YouTubers, I hope you're enjoying the content. Before we get to today's video, I want everyone to go hit that bell over by the subscriber button so you're notified every single time I upload. Enjoy the video. Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball discussion slash theory speculation video. We're just gonna call it that, honestly. But this is part of a series I've been doing kind of recently on my channel, basically fights that should happen in Dragon Ball Super. And because we're going towards the Tournament of Power, those are the fights that we're going to be focusing on, but I feel like this series could last even beyond that because Dragon Ball Super just is all about the fights, guys. We have some really awesome stuff that they've given us, and they have some awesome stuff that they could be giving us. And like I've said before, these videos are not about power scaling or who would win in a fight or anything like that. It's about characters, motivations, and growth for the most part. Who fights who, what comes out of it, why would they fight, and how would that affect them going forward in the Tournament of Power or anything else in the series. So with that being said, I am once again joined by, it's been a while, man, MrNinjaStar. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm happy to be on Mark Real to Real's channel once again. It's really fun being on videos with this guy because the discussions we can have in these videos, man, they're a lot of fun to have. So what are we going to be talking about in this video?
We're going to be discussing Toppo and whether or not or who he should fight, basically whether it's a team-up match or individually. Basically Toppo versus Frieza and or Gohan when it comes to the Tournament of Power. And basically, just to start us off here, just because I'm not necessarily sure how much of a bigger discussion topic we could have with the other person, but let's just discuss solo mano-y-mano Toppo versus Frieza in the Tournament of Power. And just before I let you share your opinions, the one thing I think is what we've seen from the Pride Troopers going from everything that Dragon Ball Super has showed us. They're not necessarily, I guess, they're crime fighters, but they don't necessarily take out anything universal scale type of emperor that is evil as Frieza was in the original Dragon Ball Z running, and also he is now. I mean, the guy is just kind of ridiculous. And I mean, this is the guy who proclaimed Goku was the biggest threat to the universe, or the biggest threat the universe has ever seen, multiverse, whatever you want to talk about. And he is he just mistaken? Like, is it going to have to be Frieza who shows him just how awesome and childlike and just innocent, non-evil Goku is? I mean, is that possible, man?
I mean, I can see it happening because, like, when you look at the stuff he was saying to Goku, he's saying, "You're the reason the universe is gonna get destroyed. This is all your fault." And then he's like, "You're an awful person. You deserve to be banished," and stuff like that. He's saying all these rude, like, remarks and stuff. And then there's Frieza of all people, who, like you said, makes Goku look extremely innocent. I think it's going to be very interesting to see, because look how aggressive Toppo was towards Goku. A guy who's just, passionate about fighting. He's a little, like, kind of crazy, like, in that sense, but when you look at someone like Frieza, who's intentionally bad, who really does all these bad things that make him such a tyrant among the Universe 7 and stuff, Toppo's going to be horrified. He's not going to like this at all. And I think he's going to go... You saw how hard he was going with Goku. You could tell he was not really holding back that much. Even for someone as old as age as him, he was giving Goku quite a bit of a struggle and stuff. And considering how well animated that fight was and how well done it was, I think for Frieza, a little bit of a longer one would not only be very interesting to see, but have a greater impact. Like, Toppo seeing someone like this, like, oh my gosh, I have to take down this guy no matter what. And Frieza's just like, oh, I'm just trying to let my universe live, whatever, and stuff. So you don't really know whose side you're going to be rooting for. Universe 7, the team with all our favorite heroes, but then there's Frieza, and then there's, Universe 4, Toppo trying to take down the villain no matter what. So yeah, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. One thing is, I mean, like, what do you think about how does he get Frieza in his sights? Because I'm not necessarily sure Frieza's the one who goes directly after Toppo. One of the things we're going to be seeing in tonight's episode, I'm not necessarily sure when this is airing, but it's going to be episode 95? Yeah, 95 of Dragon Ball Super airing tonight, and Frieza's going to be just going golden, taking out everybody in the ring, the tournament, or all these spies, these assassins, whatever you want to call them. He's going to be taken out easily. He's probably going to end up doing the same thing. Kind of, he doesn't kill people. He doesn't need to kill people, but we've seen Frieza, especially in Dragon Ball Super, just torture people. And if he's doing that, when he could just easily be taking these people and throwing them off the ring, making it quick and effortless, painless for everyone else, if he's torturing people, I think that's what gets Toppo's attention. And then he starts fighting him. And then, you know, with Frieza being in his golden form, he might be on par with Toppo, maybe. And that's what really brings his attention. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on that? And who do you think, in the scope of things, wins that fight?
Yeah, like I like what you were saying. That's kind of what I was thinking of as well. With like Frieza, he could just easily like knock people out of the ring, get it over with. You know, it'd be effortless, not even have to be that ruthless. But think about it like this: it's Frieza, the guy who loves torturing people, the guy who's a complete asshole, a tyrant, whatever. And you know, he's gonna have fun with this thing. You know, he's just gonna torture people one by one, and I think he's gonna torture maybe some of the Pride Troopers as well and stuff, and like some of the weaker ones, and he's just gonna have fun with it. And Toppo, while he's in the battle with like someone else, he quickly sees Frieza and he's like, wow, is this guy really just doing this? This is the team of Goku, the guy who put, you know, our whole, 12 universes on the line. And this guy right here, oh my gosh, he's even worse and stuff. It's gonna make him really want to go all in on Frieza. It's gonna piss him off, and that's when I think he's just going to bear hug Frieza, right, like when he doesn't know it, and then we're going to get like a really cool animated fight in the midst of things. But as far as who would win that battle, I think it would be very interesting. Like, I don't know, it would, what I would actually like to see with that battle is, as far as like power goes, you know, we haven't really, like, can't judge straight away, but from what I would like to see, personally, I think it would be cool if actually Frieza wins this battle, and because, you know, Toppo's a lot older, he's kind of past his prime and whatnot, and that's when we see Jiren come in. We know, like, Jiren just sees, you know, one of the other Pride Troopers get down, and then we see, like, Jiren versus Frieza, and that could be, like, an interesting, you know, future duel or whatever, and, yeah.
No, I get you, man. Like, in terms of what we saw with Jiren, what we saw from Frieza, I honestly, not being the power scaler, you know, you can ask other people in the community. I'm sure Seth the programmer, or MJ, or Mike from Laughingstock Media, anybody could probably do a better job at breaking it down and who would win for whatever reason. I always just talk about story-wise. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but take this. I'm thinking here. So, like you said, I really like what you said about, you know, this is Goku's team. Like, this guy, this tyrant, this monster is fighting for Goku's team. They brought this person to fight here, and it's already a battle to the death, and he's just making it too painful. And that's when we see Toppo just go crazy on Frieza. He just goes, he's savagery, he just beats him down. Like, tortures him to kind of show that, like, this is what you've been doing and this is not acceptable and all this other stuff. But because of that, because of Frieza being on Universe 7's team, he is once again fueled with anger about Goku actually bringing this tyrant to the Tournament of Power in order just to save their universe. Like, what a terrible person, right? And as we said in the beginning of this video, we're not just talking about Frieza versus Toppo, we're also talking about Gohan. So how does Gohan come into this? Well, he's mad about Goku at this point. He sees just how awful Goku is in that sense. So he takes out Frieza. I'm not necessarily sure, and it's plausible whether he actually throws Frieza out of the ring or not, but let's just say for, you know, S's and G's that he doesn't, or he does, I don't necessarily care, but he ends the fight, and then he basically goes looking for Goku, who's out and about fighting other people, or doing something, maybe at this point fighting Jiren, or Hit, or whoever is like the top dog at that point. And instead of fighting Goku, he runs into Gohan, which, you know, admittedly, he might be a little confused. They are wearing the same gi, and a lot of stuff's going on. And then he runs into Gohan, so he starts fighting Gohan. And in that moment, that instant, in that fight, Gohan ends up beating Toppo, not necessarily because Gohan is actually stronger than Toppo, but because he's probably exhausted from fighting Frieza. Like you said, a little older, I don't know exactly how much past his prime he is, but maybe he can't step to both Gohan and Frieza at the same time, or at least in the last couple minutes. He already lost to Goku, so we kind of saw just where his power might be, and those guys are pretty much equal to Goku at some level. I mean, not necessarily going all out, but they're at least on par with Goku, so much as Toppo is. So he runs into Gohan, and this is an interesting thing for Toppo, and an interesting thing for probably all the other universes, is the idea that, in the audience in general, is that Toppo, with his sights set on taking out Universe 7, seeing how evil Frieza is, reaffirming just how awful Universe 7 is and what they've done to everyone, seeing the very worst that they had to offer, and then having to immediately fight the very best. As this guy who is sympathetic, who isn't all this other stuff. And even if Toppo dominates Gohan, Gohan keeps getting up. And even if Toppo dominates Gohan and dominated Frieza, they both keep getting up and fighting for completely different reasons, and he sees exactly the difference between them, and maybe he starts to change his mind as this goes forward.
Right. And I like what you said with maybe if in the case that, you know, like Frieza may lose or wherever, Gohan, he sees Frieza get down, and Gohan, you know, like I think we were talking about this earlier at one point, Gohan has like this grudge against Frieza quite a bit. Like, I remember when we were assuming that, you know, Frieza would go back and join Universe 4, it would be really interesting to see, like, Gohan fight Frieza. Well, I mean, I guess those spoilers aren't true, but whatever. Frieza is staying on the team. And even so, Gohan's not going to get rid of that grudge of Frieza. Look what this man did. This man killed his friends and like knocked down a bunch of his friends in front of him in the Namek like Frieza saga, tortured him in Resurrection F, and did all these horrible things to Gohan, like really impacting him. And Gohan has this quite grudge against Frieza, like along with the other Z fighters. And I think Gohan having to overcome this, like, this man's down. I don't know, like I want to help. I don't want to hit Toppo, the guy who, like, knocked down my greatest enemy and stuff, but I think I have to for the sake of putting my pride aside, just saving my universe, whatnot. And Toppo might see this and be like, oh, you know what? They're not all that bad. Like, sure, like, he may be winning the fight, we don't know, but it would be really interesting to see, you know, Toppo realizes, you know, it's just Goku and Frieza that are the issues. These, Universe 7 isn't even all that bad, and it's just, they don't have bad intentions or anything. He could change his mindset. And this could really be impactful laterwards in the future. So, yeah, that's what I had to say.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. And one thing I really think is we don't know anything about Jiren. I've mentioned this a little bit going into other videos with this topic, or these fights that should happen topic, is we don't know who Jiren is. We don't know how bloodthirsty Jiren is, even though he fights for good. Even though Toppo and him are friends, we don't know anything about his personality, but we do know stuff about Toppo and how righteous and black and white everything is for him. And if he starts to see the gray and, you know, change his perspective on all of this, and if him and Jiren kind of have a falling out somewhere in all of this, he would potentially, at least in my opinion, have this situation where all the gods see that divide between them, and then they start, I guess, becoming more sympathetic to Universe 7. When we're essentially going into this whole tournament with Universe 7 going to be, you know, the outliers, the people that everyone's gunning for. Even if the leaks that came out are incredibly fake, even if people aren't, or other universes aren't basically teaming up with each other, there's going to be a situation where, because of what Bergamo said for Universe 9 and what everyone experienced from Toppo versus Goku and all this other stuff, people hate Universe 7. They're going to go after them even if they're not teaming up. So what we're going to need to see is Universe 11, probably, when it comes down to it, the strongest universe, or at least the biggest rivals to Universe 7, or Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Frieza, all these other people. They're going to need to have some kind of cracks in their righteousness in order to sway one side to the other, or something else like that. Because if they don't, we as an audience and also the God hierarchy just will see something that's not what it should be. I mean, like, why are we why are we as an audience supposed to root for Goku and all this other stuff when everyone else seems to be like a lot better and a lot less conflicted and all this other stuff? If Universe 7 just isn't like, they're just doing their best with what they have instead of everyone else just being that much better and that less conflicted with everything going on. So Frieza fighting Toppo and then fighting Gohan, to me, really makes sense in order to kind of progress his character, basically bring him to the lowest point he has, or lowest thought process for Universe 7, and then bring it way up real quickly with how awesome Gohan is.
Right. It like really changes perspective on how he feels it. And that that whole rival thing, I like what you brought that up, and like it also kind of changes what's going on, like how the other, because let's be real, Goku's like the most hated man in all like 12 universes and stuff at this current moment in time. Like everyone is taking a dislike to this guy, and Goku doesn't have that much support and stuff aside from, you know, his own team and a few others, you know, from like Universe 6. But aside from that, you know, these people gaining like a little more respect for Universe 7, not necessarily Goku, but like Universe 7, just because they see Gohan, his he's not necessarily like his father. He's a little more humble. He's a little more selfless and stuff. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there, bro.
Yeah, I think so too. So one thing we're not saying here, because I don't think you and I either have a real idea on how this plays out. The problem with this is we're taking three people who need to have some, you know, Frieza should not just be beholden to just this interaction when you have Kaba, Caulifla, and Frost, and Kale that he could interact with too. Toppo maybe could lose against these people, but at the same time, people want to see him fight against Vegeta or all these other, or even Hit or something. Like, he's kind of been built up as well. And same thing with Gohan, has been really been building up to basically even win the tournament. So please make sure in the comment section below to share who you think would win in this fight if it were to happen. You can say power scaling for story purposes or anything else like that, because honestly, I don't know. I don't even want to make that call, because I feel like allowing anybody to win in this situation, or anyone to lose, really would take away so much from all the other potential purposes and all this other stuff that could happen that could have a better effect going forward in the story. But at the same time, I don't necessarily know. So anyway, Ninja, do you have anything left to say on this matter?
No, I think you covered it completely, like with all the points you said and stuff. And yeah, nothing really.
Okay, guys, please make sure to go down to the description section below and hit that link over to MrNinjaStar's channel. The guy makes some really awesome content. One of the things I really like about this community and the people I work with is we're all very passionate about this stuff, and all we really want is just to kind of build our communities around the topics that we want to discuss. And I promise you guys, he is one of the people who really does that, makes some really quality content, not just Dragon Ball, but other stuff as well. So please make sure to go check him out, and I'm sure you will not be disappointed. But with that being said, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe onto this video, and also hit that bell over by the subscriber button so you're notified every single time I upload. But yeah, guys, I hope you'll have a good day. Bye.